something you can't fix.
If you can't fix what's broken, you'll go insane.
It's Jay and Adam. It's Preview.
It's Preview's Fix It with Adam and Jay.
Hey, peaches! Oh, welcome to Fix It. We're friends. Don't let friends fix pop culture alone.
I'm Adam.
And I'm Jay. And you're our listener.
Hey there, listeners.
Ho there, listeners!
Roger, listeners.
Welcome to our 100th episode of Fix It, everybody. And for that, the celebration has begun. Everyone should have received a family-sized bag of marshmallows in the mail.
Oh, wow.
We're making s'mores.
Ooh.
That's it. It's just it's s'mores day for 100 episodes of podcasting. You know, just enjoy your time with your family and make delicious s'mores treat. Do you like s'mores?
I used to.
What did s'mores do to you, Lashy?
It's too sweet now.
Oh, okay.
The chocolate and the marshmallows a little too much.
Marshmallows they're not really that sweet. They're more
It's sugar.
saccharine-y.
Yeah, it's the meltedness of it. It's just a little bit too much for my teeth.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like each individual element by itself, fantastic. Graham cracker, marshmallow, yeah. Chocolate, great.
I've
Yeah,
always
but
dreamed about having a s'more with if they could make bigger versions of Lucky Charms marshmallows
Okay.
and make a s'more with that. It'd probably be enough sugar to basically, kick me into overdrive.
Quite possibly, yeah. I mean, I do know they do sell those types of cereal marshmallows in bulk.
I know. I'm not saying I want oops all marshmallows. I'm
Right.
saying I want a big one.
I know.
I don't think I'm asking for the world over
I'm
here.
just saying if they do sell them in bulk, it's possible that maybe you could get a pre-cut one. It's just a giant, slab.
Yeah, but I want it shaped like a rainbow.
You can cut it yourself.
Anyways, welcome to Fix It. Hi, everybody. I'm Jay. That's Adam. Welcome to the 100th episode of Fix It. This is our podcast where every week Adam and I take a piece of pop culture that maybe missed the mark, maybe didn't quite get there, maybe just didn't silence his computer, and we fix it. And since our 100th episode, we are going back to our one of the one things that was like the tentpole fix when we first were thinking about the concept for this show. The movie that we desperately want to fix, Episode 2 of Star Wars, Attack of the Clones.
We already did the first one.
We already did,
We fixed the Phantom Menace at our 50th episode.
We did. At episode 50, we fixed the Phantom Menace, and having listened back to that episode, our fixes are quite good.
We did a good
I was
job.
really happy with it. So if you are listening to this episode, both of our fixes are going to be based on a lot of the status quo that we set up in our first episode. So if you have not seen that one, stop this one immediately. Put your phone down. Write us a letter via snail mail, and we will send you on vinyl our fix to episode 1.
Ooh.
I've been printing them in secret.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Okay, great.
So yeah, I would definitely check out that episode if you have not. The fixes are quite good, and it is going to play pretty heavily into our fixes today.
We're also going to do a very small, quick recap of hey, just in case. Here's the thing. Here's
we're recapping our last ones.
I have 3 main points of hey, this is where I left episode 1.
Okay, I didn't know we were doing that part, but
okay, you don't have to.
Wait, now I have to. Now you set it up.
I have 3 main points.
Okay.
For everyone so
that's the podcasting equivalent of is there extra credit? Is there
Sorry, Jay.
It's totally
it's
fine.
Previously on. Yeah.
Previously on. Anyways, so before we get to fixing Attack of the Clones, we've come to everyone's most favorite segment. It's our first segment of the show, and everyone's most favorite. We took a poll. It's Roll for Convo. And we have 20 topics of conversation that could very well be, each one of them has the possibility to be the subject of conversation in our first segment. And I'm going to roll a 20-sided die, and we're going to figure out which of these topics of conversation is going to be the first segment. Everyone's favorite segment. We took a poll. I'm stuck in a loop over here. I think it's Brian's fault. He knows what he did. And I rolled, and that is a 13.
13. Ooh. What do you believe is the strangest family tradition you have? Anything goes in tradition talk.
What is the strangest family tradition
Do you
that we
have
have?
any family traditions? Traditions.
Traditions. Now, it's probably our strangest family tradition is that for most holidays, if there is an appetizer situation,
Okay.
there is included in the spread of appetizers, crab rangoons are included.
Okay.
Because
Why is that strange?
Why is that strange?
Mm-hmm.
At Thanksgiving, crab rangoon is not an appetizer for
okay.
Thanksgiving. Like, it is not stereotypically involved. Crab rangoon is not something you would think about in regards to Thanksgiving and or Christmas.
Okay. So, I don't do apps, so I don't even know.
I understand.
App
Do you even
protocol.
know what a crab rangoon is? No. It is a fried wonton wrapper that is stuffed with a crab and cream cheese mixture.
Jay.
That is traditionally dipped in some kind of sweet chili sauce, and they are one of my, if not my favorite foods, and they are spectacular. What were you about? What are you gonna say to me?
What's a wonton wrapping?
Like a wonton? It's a wonton.
I don't know what that is.
They're like, it's like a dumpling wrapper almost. Are you
So
about to
like
ask me what a dumpling is, or are you about to look me in my face and ask me what a dumpling
It's
is?
like a tortellini.
I suppose it could be considered similar to a pasta,
Yeah.
but yeah.
It's a noodle
It's a
with
wonton.
a thing inside of it.
It's
with
a
stuff
wonton.
inside of it.
Yeah, well, like yeah,
Like a dumpling. Like it's like
it's like
dough.
it's a fried
dough,
dumpling.
but
Yeah,
with stuff inside of it.
they're deep fried dumplings, and they're crispy and gooey and delicious.
Okay.
Yeah, they're all the things. But we also in the Schmidt family have a very specific situation where, for the longest time, we if my parents do something on a holiday that we like, it kind of drives my parents crazy. I think they secretly love it, but for the longest time, if we liked something, we'd be like, "This is tradition now. We do this all the time. Every year we do this now." Like we would just call our shots with traditions.
Oh, okay.
And it started with crab rangoon because we were all like, "I love the crab rangoon are here. They shouldn't be, but we love it. Tradition. This is tradition. We do this now."
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So like crab rangoon have always been a part of a holiday spread of some kind, and if there was none to be found, it has been an issue.
Oh, wow.
But it drives my mom crazy.
Because she has to somehow supply crab rangoon.
Because a lot of times she's like, "I'm afraid to do something that you guys all like at the holidays because you guys are going to make me do it every year for the rest of my life."
It's the price of being good.
That's the price. Yeah, that's the price of raising kids.
Sorry.
But yeah, that's a pretty. Also, another Schmidt family tradition that's quite weird. If we're taking pictures as like a big family in like a pseudo professional situation,
Sure.
like at a wedding or
Okay,
something,
sure, yeah.
we have to get a wave picture. It's the Schmidt wave. We wave at each other, and we didn't realize we were doing it until my sister's husband joined the family.
Okay.
And he calls it the Schmidt wave because he's like, "Do you guys all like wave at each other? If you're greeting each other from a distance, you're always waving. There's always a wave, and it's just like a hey, like you can't help but wave." And then we got a video of my sister was at like a pool with her now husband.
Okay.
And she was like, "Oh, and Jeff's here." And Jeff was just like, "Oh, hey guys," and did the wave. And he went, "No!" It's perfect. So now we all have to if we're all the Schmidts are together,
Mm-hmm.
we take all of the nice pictures and stuff, and
Sure.
then we have one where we're all waving.
To the camera.
Yeah.
You guys
Everyone's
don't turn
waving.
in and waving to each other.
Hi!
You wave to the camera. Okay.
Hello. Yeah. You have to have a wave picture. So yeah, we have from our wedding, we have everyone waving, and it's the best.
Cool.
But that's a weird one too. Do you guys have any weird traditions? What's this energy? What's happening
Jay, anything
right now?
goes in tradition talk.
Anything goes in tradition talk.
So-
You're about to tell me how you hate traditions, aren't you?
I absolutely do.
You're about to Grinch it.
I
You're
do.
about to Grinch traditions.
I do. I was a child where, as like all these traditions have been like
Sure.
I've been like I've just dragged along in all these traditions, and I would always ask, why are we doing this?
Yeah.
And the answer would be like, oh, because it's a tradition.
It's
And
tradition.
that was never an appropriate answer for me.
Okay. So you don't find any solace in it?
No.
No?
It's like, oh, what are we doing? Oh, because it's tradition. But that's why. But why are we doing this? Because it's tradition.
Helps you feel a part of something.
Not me. Why are we doing this? Oh, because of
Well,
tradition.
you're just you're referring to.
I need to understand why we are actually doing the thing. Like, why are we doing it? And if I'm told that it's like, oh, well, okay, well, this is why we're doing it. It's like, oh, that reason's dumb. We shouldn't do that anymore. We're better than that. No, because it's tradition. No. No, we've outgrown this tradition. We don't have to do it anymore. No, it's tradition. We can't not do it.
Can you give me some specific examples?
I could, but I don't want to start a fight.
You're gonna isolate a lot of people.
Probably, yeah.
You're about to say church, aren't you?
Yeah, I was.
That's not. Yeah, but that's not a. Going to church on a holiday is not tradition, really.
In my family, it was.
Yeah, I mean, where I'm from, you just go to church. Like it's not like it's. People are like, why do you go to church? Because you go to church. There's no tradition. It's like that because you do.
But the one tradition that I did change recently, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is no longer a turkey meal.
Yes, this is a tradition that you have created. So tradition is not all bad.
No, well, I just like, no, we're burritos now.
Yeah, you're okay with tradition as long as as long as it's your idea.
Yeah, it's my idea. I've deemed this tradition to be worthy.
You are
because
so against tradition.
Yeah.
But I would argue that the routine that you have set up for your life is not that much different than the concept of tradition.
Sure.
I could ask you, be like, oh, why do you have peanut butter sandwiches in the middle of the day? And you'd be like, well, that's just what we do.
That's lunch. That's my lunch.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's your tradition.
Yeah.
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 And you'd be like, well, that's what I do. Okay.
That works for me.
I understand.
So like,
I understand. It's just so funny. You're so against tradition if it's just something you don't want to do.
Yes. Well, because Jay, there's pressure when it comes to tradition.
Sure.
Because the societal pressure is like, well, why do we do this? Because traditions. Like, hey, have we ever thought about maybe we should come back to this? Like, should we keep doing this? Does this still work for a society as in a modern society? If not, maybe we should change it. But there's a lot of people out there that's like, you can't ever change tradition.
Yeah.
Because if you do, then I don't know, the seal is broken, the
think
demons will come, there's to be negative consequences. It's like, no, every generation should look back at the traditions and be like, does this still work for us? And make a decision. If it does, great. If it doesn't, we adapt it.
I would argue that we do that just subconsciously. Stuff falls away that doesn't necessarily meet the standard at all. I mean, if you look at Christmas across the decades, even across the centuries, Christmas is a completely different holiday than it used to be.
Yeah.
But yeah, I knew that. As soon as you started reading this question, I was like, boy. Do you so you started your own tradition of burrito Thanksgiving?
Mm-hmm.
Burrito Thanksgiving. Have you any interest in creating any other kind of traditions, or I am so excited that he is gonna start the boy is gonna start aging into understanding Christmas, and we get to create our own Christmas traditions and our own Christmas
do you
vibe.
Think the next one he'll be 1.5 by then? Do you think he'll be?
There'll
be some understanding.
Probably
probably
not.
It's probably the next.
It's probably the next one. That's the money one. I think 3 and 4 is where you really get that motor running.
That hook, yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. It's my first kid, so I don't totally know. But
let me ask you this: what was your Christmas traditions when it came to opening presents? Was there a set way of going about it?
Okay. We would all the kids would be up on. We were not allowed to come downstairs until we were told.
Oh.
We would all stand at the top of the stairs, and then my parents would put on Frank Sinatra's Christmas album, specifically the the Jingle Bell song. I have got those Jingle bells, and then my parents would ring the bells, and they would they would close the door. They would say bye to Santa because Santa was just leaving.
Oh,
we weren't allowed to come downstairs because Santa was still working. He'd always he came to our house last all the time apparently.
All the time, yeah.
So say goodbye to Santa. We would come downstairs. We would see all the stuff, and then everyone settles. Like adults get coffee, set up their beverage situation,
they gotta
mimosas, coffee, you know,
whatever
like,
helps them get them through the day.
My
or the
mom
morning.
has usually made monkey bread. There's usually also an egg casserole. I love egg casserole. Okay, and then at that point, once everyone's situated, then we start with stockings.
Yep.
And everyone opens stockings at the same time.
Yes.
Stockings is a tandem situation.
Agree. Yep.
And that's usually just like small little things here and there, just like small little fun
tchotchkes
stuff.
and stuff. Yeah, fun stuff.
Little
yeah.
bits and bobs.
Underwear, socks.
And those are from Santa. Are stockings from Santa in your house? Okay. And then after stockings, that's when, the gears start spinning, and everybody takes turns.
Everyone takes
we
a turn,
figure out where, because not taking turns, I have met people that are like, everyone just open their presents at the same time. Chaos, abject chaos. Please and no thank you.
And also over in 20 minutes, if even that.
It's not even. It's like you have to like. I think everyone taking turns, everyone can relish, and that was actually how I started to understand reaction content, because I was like, oh, it's fun watching people open presents.
Oh.
That's kind of the thing, and I understand that's unboxing. It's not really reaction content, but like that's kind of how
it is
when
kind
people
of the
don't
same
totally
thing.
understand it, it's kind of the vibe that it's a touchstone for people.
Yeah. Or color commentary for nerd sports.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if anyone gets like the same present, there's always a back-to-back situation.
Ooh.
So people open up at the same time because they're getting the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you take the morning. Everyone can be like, because you can relish in the presents and be grateful and like truly appreciate the blessing of a Christmas morning, because not everybody gets one, you know.
It's true, they don't.
That makes me sad. Christmas is the best.
Well, American Christmas is the best.
American Christmas is the best. USA, number one. Ooh, 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 rah. Drink that Coke, polar bear. Yum, yum. I'm going to kiss that Grinch right on the lips and tell him, hey, bud, you're still welcome here. Enjoy your roast beast. Anyways, American Christmas. Yeah, so that is... Yeah, we're pretty heavy, like... We're pretty heavy tradition-wise in the Christmas realm. Thanksgiving, not so much. Thanksgiving is not... Oh, I didn't tell you. You put your arm out so I could slap it.
Yeah,
because I wasn't.
You weren't gonna.
Because I was about to hit you in the nards. We're going this year. We called an audible.
Oh.
We're not going to. Normally, this is a year where we would go to St. Louis for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
We're not going this year for Thanksgiving.
Oh my God.
We'll probably end up going to Philly for both Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're going to St. Louis for Halloween.
Wow. Oh.
Because
all the neighborhood.
Because all the little kiddos.
Yeah.
Because we can see all the baby cousins in their little outfits, and we can get him an outfit. Also, the flights are cheaper. It's a holiday we actually enjoy celebrating more.
Mm-hmm.
Thanksgiving, I can take or leave.
Yeah.
I don't really totally care. I like eating a nice meal, but it always feels like it's just so much pressure.
It's a lot of pressure.
And I actually like food, and I feel pressure at Thanksgiving. I can only imagine how you feel about it.
It was my worst holiday until I instituted burrito Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So we're going for Halloween, which is gonna be.
Well, that should be fun.
Yeah, I'm really excited about it. It's gonna be a blast. Because all the little kiddos in their little outfits.
Sure.
And we're gonna the boys. We've already decided he's gonna be the Little Prince from the book, The Little Prince.
Like Goodnight Moon?
It's almost 1,000% whimsy. There's no way you've read this. No, it's not. It is not a children. Well, it's technically a children's book, but it's like a classic. It's like actually but it's French.
Does he have any like weapons or anything like that? Did he defeat anything?
No, he travels from planet to planet on a little. He's the prince
Does he have
of
like a ray gun or something?
No, there's no violence in the Little Prince.
No.
No.
Doesn't conquer anything?
No.
Even like his own inner demons or nothing? He just
He makes friends with a rose.
Oh, okay.
And a fox.
Oh.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm-hmm. Le Petit Prince. But he already kind of looks like he's got the little haircut. It's gonna be
that's true.
It's gonna be friggin' cute.
Are you going to refer to him? Are you going to try to talk in a French accent as you parade him around the neighborhood?
Not. Absolutely not. No. But yeah,
that'd be fun though, right?
Yeah. What was the weirdest tradition your parents tried to get you to do? And what's the one that really sent you over the edge? Was there any weird ones? good. This is good podcasting.
Yeah, I have blocked out a lot of the traumatic childhood stuff. I don't honestly remember most of it.
Fair enough.
I think, but probably just church stuff.
Okay.
Because I was like, what? I kept asking why are we going. He's like, well, because we go.
Yeah.
I was like, that's never what. Why? But why? Well, because this is what we do.
Oh. See, in my house, it was we go because we believe, and I go, oh, okay. Yeah, because if your parents aren't religious, then yeah, what is the point? Because my parents are like, well, this is the religion we adhere to. It's like, oh, okay, yeah. Anyways,
tradition.
This has been tradition talk. All right. That's been roll for con for everybody. We've got a lot of fixing to do today, so we should probably move on. Hoodalolly. Okay. It's starting to get hot in here. Okay, here we go. So, Attack of the Clones.
Yes.
Attack of the Clones. Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. We have already fixed this one before, and I'm just trying to... I listened to my fix yesterday, so now I have to remember all of my fun little details. But before we get into fixing Attack of the Clones, we should probably hear more about this film from our spectacular producer, Brian. He's the best in the biz, but also carries a dark secret.
I mean, that's why he's Anakin.
That's why he's Anakin. Who's to say? I've got the high ground, Brian. I'm going to get you.
He's going to find those bodies.
He's going to find those bodies. Brian, why don't you let us know about Attack of the Clones when you roll that beautiful bean fun fact footage?
Thank you, gentlemen. Producer Brian here, and happy 100 episodes of Fix It. Today, on our 100th episode, we are continuing with our Star Wars fixes by fixing Star Wars Episode 2, Attack of the Clones. Released in 2002, it was written by George Lucas and Jonathan Hales, and was directed by George Lucas. It stars Ewan McGregor, Natalie Portman, Hayden Christensen, Ian McDiarmid, Tamora Morrison, Christopher Lee, Samuel L. Jackson, and the rest of the Star Wars crew. Here are some fun bean facts. This movie cost $115 million and made $653.8 million at the box office. Lucas was hesitant to return to writing the script, so for his third draft of this movie, he brought on Jonathan Hales, who had written many of the young Indiana Jones scripts. Now, this film's working title was, quote, Jar Jar's Great Adventure, end quote, a sarcastic reference to the character's response from Phantom Menace. Now, the first trailer was released in front of Monsters, Inc. and helped to boost the movie's sales. It was the first movie shot completely on an HD digital 24-frame system. Now, it was nominated for Best Visual Effects at the Oscars, but also nominated for 7 Razzies, including winning for Worst Screenplay and Worst Supporting Actor for Hayden Christensen. And if you care, this has a 48% on Rotten Tomatoes and a 2.9 out of 5 on Letterboxd. And I do want to say, of the Star Wars prequels, I have seen this the most. I saw this in movie theaters like 6 or 7 times. I was definitely an apologist for this movie up front. I think it has some awesome moments, but I really liked it at the time. That has since changed. Anyway, back to you, gentlemen. Please enjoy writing your fix, and may the Force be with you.
Good job, Brian.
Thank you, Brian.
Concise.
Yeah, as always, to the point, getting it done, up and down, every time. But before we get into Attack of the Clones specifically, we've also come to everyone's third favorite segment. We took a poll. Everyone's like, I thought it was the first one. No, this one's the third one.
This one is the third one.
It's also, I think, our third one as well. I think if we were to search our hearts of hearts, that we mostly do this mostly because it's tradition. In Plot Drop, when one of us describes, for those of you who maybe have not seen Attack of the Clones, to which I say, why are you listening to this? But I'm glad you're here. Stay a while. Have a s'more. That's what we're doing right now. Which one?
I'll do it.
You do it?
I watched the whole film the other night.
Oh,
it's
see,
fresh.
I've seen it so many times. I did not feel. But also,
yeah.
Wait, really?
No, I watched it, and I was an Attack of the Clones apologist.
Really?
Oh yeah.
Really?
I thought this was the best thing when it first came out, and it took 2 weeks for the shine to fall off.
I'm a third one apologist. I am a
Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah. Why can't I remember the title of it? I'm a Revenge of the Sith apologist. I actually like that movie, but
There are some good things to like about it, but there's a lot of things to not like about it. But this one is of the prequels. This one is the worst of them.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, so Attack of the Clones quickly, because there's a lot of things that George is trying to spin in this thing, and none of it is connected, and none of it makes sense. So I'm going to try to hit the high points here. It's 10 years after The Phantom Menace.
Yes.
The Republic's on the brink of civil war, even though there really isn't anything shown about why or how. But Anakin and Obi-Wan are off on a mission. They just come back, and someone tried to kill Padme. Bum, bum, bum. And it turns out that they'll be the bad guys from the first movie. But Anakin hasn't seen Padme in 10 years, and he is 20-ish and is a total creeper dude. He doesn't know how to handle himself around a pretty girl. It's awkward and super cringe. If you look up cringe in the dictionary, it is Aiden Christensen forced to say these lines that George Lucas wrote to try to pick up Padme. It's terrible.
It sucks.
But apparently the separatist movement led by Count Dooku, who at this point we've never met and don't know, is like rallying thousands of systems, and the Republic's on the brink of destruction. And so
whatever that means.
Whatever that means, because we have not seen anything about anything at this point. But everyone's worried about Padme because she was kind of one of the people in charge of trying to heal this rift between the Separatists and the Republic. So Palpatine asks if the Jedi can allow Anakin to go take Padme away from all this stuff to protect her from whatever this assassination attempt. Meanwhile, there's a message that showed up from Kamino to the Jedi. I was like, "Hey, your order is ready. Come pick up your army." And oh no, I'm sorry, that's not it. That's my fix. It makes way more sense. It makes more sense. The assassin, they're trying to figure out who killed or trying to assassinate Padme, and it's a whole convoluted thing because it's a shape changer who was hired by Jango Fett, who was hired by Tyrannus, who was actually the person who ordered the army 10 years ago, but we haven't met him yet. But Obi-Wan's tasked to find the assassin, and so he follows the trail to Kamino, finds a clone army, tells like, oh. Jedi Master Sifo Dyas ordered this army 10 years ago. Like, Master Sifo Dyas, he died 10 years ago. But, like, what? And no one's like, wait a second, this is probably a bad thing. No one ever says that. Just like, oh, he's been dead for over 10 years. He couldn't have done it. But that's only as far as it goes. And meanwhile, Anakin and Padme are just the cringiest thing of all time, and it's just weird and awkward, and there's no reason they should ever be together. Obi-Wan meets Jango Fett, meets the Kaminoans, follows Jango to Geonosis, and is like, oh my god, the Separatists are building a robot army here, and they're going to attack. Bum bum bum. Meanwhile, Padme and Anakin go to Tatooine because Anakin's been having visions about his mom. It turns out his mom's captured by Tusken Raiders and dies of her wounds just as Anakin shows up to save her. And then Anakin kills all the Tusken Raiders.
Sure.
Because, I mean, they just killed his mom. So, like,
sure.
Yeah.
I would argue his mom should have never even been a character. But
quite possibly.
That's for my fix.
But then Anakin kills everybody and is really sad and whiny about it again, and then says horrible things to Padme, which she doesn't listen to and just asks a different question. Mm-hmm. He says something horrible, she just bypasses it and asks another question, and he says something horrible again. And again, she doesn't listen, and then she says something else. It's like, you aren't talking to each other. Why is the scene even here?
No, and it has the feel. It has the feel of. I would imagine, like, why can't I remember her name right now? Natalie Portman is a strong enough actress that I'm sure she tried to, like, inform the performance of some of these lines, responding to what he's giving her. But I think it feels like George was like, no. The line is, you're asking about this other thing. Why would you be sad about asking that question? It's like, I don't know, he was just yelling at me. Like, but
he just lost his mom. He killed a bunch of people.
But we're talking about this other thing, so ask about that. What? Like, it feels like there was just a disconnect directorially to be like, why are you acting?
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Why
get these points across?
Yeah,
that's your only job right now, is to get these points across.
Yeah, this is about the information. What are you doing? Some of the emotions you're adding in are really making this complicated. Yeah, but this is what George.
Obi-Wan chases Jango Fett to Geonosis. He finds out this army. He sneaks and stuff. And like listens over here this meeting. I was like, Dooku. We finally see Dooku. Oh my god, he was a Jedi Master. He was Qui-Gon's Jedi Master when he was a Padawan.
Yes.
Oh my god! But it's over an hour into the film, and we finally meet this guy.
Yeah.
And he's like the big bad. Oh my god. And then he's like, oh yeah, there's 10,000 star systems ready to rally to our cause, which is, that's too big of a number, everybody.
That's too many.
That's too many things. And then they capture Obi-Wan, but Obi-Wan got a message off and to the council. It's like, well, we got to go to Geonosis and save Obi-Wan. Well, Anakin and Padme are in Tatooine, and they're really close to Geonosis because, that's how it works. Reasons. And so they show up to help. They run through a droid factory in a sequence that's far too long and far too stupid, and they get captured. And then right before they go out into this gladiator pit where they both expect to die, Padme, for some reason, tells Anakin that she loves him and has loved him for a very long time. They kiss. It's awkward. They get staked to poles, and they fight their way to freedom. And then all of a sudden, like 100-ish Jedi show up to save him from Geonosis and all the battle trooper, all the robots, and the Geonosins or whatever. And then that number gets whittled down to like 15. Just complete and utter BS because Jedi are awesome, but apparently George doesn't think so. So a bunch of so many died.
Yeah,
so many died. And also Mace Windu.
That was just a crab rangoon appetizer for all the Jedi that were gonna die. Come on now.
Yeah, I know.
Now.
Mace Windu kills Jango Fett. Yoda shows up with the clone army from Kamino, and the Clone Wars begin. Oh, and Palpatine got war powers before any attack happened.
Yes. Yeah.
He just asked for it before there was a war, before anyone attacked anybody.
Yeah.
And then they manipulated Jar Jar into being like, I think he should have war powers, and everyone applauded. And that's how democracy ended. And then Anakin and Padme get married. And there's some lightsaber fights, but they're really not full attention, and they kind of suck.
Yeah.
In the grand scheme of things, those lightsaber fights suck.
Yeah, they're not good. They're almost too... And I would say the third one, I think, kind of fixes that. Like I think some of the best sword fights are like the last fight between the two of them is truly magic.
Yeah, it's nuts. It goes on a little bit too far, but for the most part, it's awesome.
Yeah, but it's like the sweet spot of like the flourish, but also like the kind of visceral. Because sometimes, like in the second one in particular, some of those lightsaber fights, I was like, they're not fighting, they're just dancing.
Yeah.
They're just doing choreography, and then that fun.
Well, there was the fight between Anakin and Dooku. There's just shots when he cuts a power cable and the lights kind of go out a little bit. They're just shots of the face and their saber is high, but but they're just kind of moving the saber not on camera, but the light is moving. Kind of like the Star Wars intro that's really bad of the blue and the red light passing past helmets.
Yes.
It's that shot but on their faces in lieu of actual them battling. It's insane.
Yeah.
It's really this movie is kind of separated from the first one by 10 years, and then just has to be like, okay, so this is how a war starts. And George Lucas he's got some points he's trying to make, but doesn't quite understand how a society starts fighting itself.
Yes.
It's maddening. It's maddening. Because it just, when you look at it and actually watch it, and kind of go story beat by story beat, is why is this happening now? Because nothing's provoked this yet.
Yeah. Precisely. Yeah. For me, it's just it has no emotional weight in any capacity. As I was going through, I was going through the plot beat by beat, and I was just like, yeah, why is Mace Windu's just in this because they wanted to have him in this? There's a lot of characters that's that they don't spend a ton of time with it, but there's just a lot of characters in this that don't matter.
Nope.
There's a staggering amount of characters that don't matter when you have, and also when you have characters that you're trying to build a relationship with, and characters we would like to spend time with. You're not spending time with because you're doing other random stupid stuff. There's no. And also some of these action sequences, them fighting through the droid factory it's so unnecessary.
Yeah.
And it also, it's they're not talking. It's quiet. They're just like trying to survive the droid factory. And I was like, there's so much opportunity here to like deepen our, like have some fun character moments. There's nothing. They're just fighting robots. And don't get me wrong, I love fighting robots.
Sure. Consequence free, baby. Let's go.
Who's to say that that's a bad thing? But woofa doofa with a top hat on.
And the CG did not age well in that sequence.
No.
It's so heavily CG, but with them. Oh, no. I'm dodging a thing. I'm dodging another
Well,
thing.
it was also before I think a lot of actors really knew how to figure out how to act for green screen.
Yeah.
Because it's not easy.
This was what, 2001, I think?
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
99, something like that? Yeah.
Well, no, 99 was episode 1.
Okay, so this is like probably
I think it
02,
was,
03?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh. I think we should probably get into fixing this because I have a feeling we're going to be going for a while. We can do.
Yes. Yes.
Do you want to go first or you want to go second?
How do you feel about your fix? Do you want a little bit more? Do you need time to do like a mental recap of yours, or do you?
No,
want
I'm
me to jump
good. I think let me go first.
Okay.
Let me go first, just so I can. Sometimes I don't know if you guys have paid attention to the show. We changed our format a little bit over the time because honestly, we don't always have time to write a book report every week.
That's what it came down to. Yeah, it took me 2 hours on top of watching the movie to write all this out.
Yeah, it's you know, for those who appreciate the old format, we love you for that. But it came down to, it was like, hey, if you also want an episode of Previewed every day, we had to change the format up a little bit. But I have also found in the old episodes that sometimes if I'm going second, I am still thinking about my fix in a way that means I'm not actively listening to you.
Fair.
I was like, oh, it's better when I go first because then I can just, after I'm done, I can just chill out and listen to you. But in the lieu of not making this a 2-hour-long podcast, we'll keep this quick. So, my fix of episode 1. My fix of episode 1 mainly focused on, for those of you who have maybe not listened to the episode and didn't, immediately go listen to it when I commanded you to. How dare you? Treason.
Betrayal.
I guess it's just insubordination, and that's fine. It's a misdemeanor, and it's just a fine. But my fix of episode 1 featured a older Anakin. And it featured, we get mostly to Count Dooku a lot quicker, and we explore his relationship as Qui-Gon's master a little bit. And it turns out he is, we set him up as a bad guy at the end of my movie. Also, we start, we have Padme a little bit more of a spunky, like charismatic leader. And once she is very much a part of the action, we go to Jabba's palace a little bit, and that's where all of our characters met. And it got to a point where we find out in my movie that Count Dooku is leading the Trade Federation and has broken from the Jedi. That's kind of just the gist of it. That's what you need to know, I would suppose. So, my Attack of the Clones. My opening scrawl.
Yes.
We find out that after the success of defeating the Trades Federation's control over Naboo, there have been small victories for the Republic and for the Senate, but they have won many battles, but they are still losing the war against the Trade Federation.
Oh, okay.
The Trade Federation has been doing an all-out assault with their robot armies, and they are trying to take strategic positions in the galaxy. The crown jewel that they are looking for is that the Trade Federation is making moves to take over Corellia, because taking over Corellia it is a trade planet.
Yep.
And it has been if they were to maintain control over that, then they would have the ability to control a lot of economic control in the galaxy, but also they would have access to a lot more factories and could build a lot more droids.
Yep.
And so currently the Republic is fighting the Trade Federation on Corellia. The movie opens up, a la Episode 1, the OG. The movie opens up with Obi-Wan and Anakin making contact with a large corporation heads in Corellia, trying to find allies to help them against the Trade Federation on the planet. we find out, and I think this sets up Corellia in a fun way that we know from other movies that are going to come out after this, is that Corellia is low-key kind of in support of the Trade Federation.
Yeah.
Because they're like, hey, like we want economic control over the galaxy, and these guys are going to help us do it.
Yeah.
Like, we get the vibe that, like, yeah, they can come here, but like it'll be like they're going to think they're taking us, but like we're taking them.
We're a manufacturing hub. We make everything here.
Yeah, we can do it. Yeah, like we're going to become their backbone, and then eventually their brain pretty fast. Like, they're savvy on Corellia. But we find out that their Senate representatives are the only things that are really holding back from them just raising the flag for the Trade Federation.
Oh, okay.
And then it's not a good situation, but we also, in them making their way towards this meeting, we get backstory about making our way. We get backstory about Anakin becoming going through his Padawan training, and he's becoming a Jedi. So, like, we have established that is happening, and we also have established that he and Padme have been hanging out. Because in my movie, in my episode 1, they are friends at that point. Mm-hmm. And we also allude that there might be something more. And then we also allude to the fact that Obi-Wan is not totally on board with it, because that's not what Jedi do. And he's like, well, I'm not a knight yet. And he's like, I understand, but once you become a knight, like, you need to understand that there are certain expectations of a Jedi Knight. Like, that's fine. We all had those little romances before we took the oath, but you need to understand. Is there an oath? What do they do?
There's a knighting.
I understand there's a knighting, but I don't know. Once you're knighted, like, you got to knock this off. And he's like, okay, yeah, I get it. He's like, but what if I love her? It's like, yeah, but that's just not. Well, why can't the Jedi be different? Like, why? Like, you know,
tradition.
Tradition. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, Anakin's right, by the way.
They make some decisions in Coruscant that Anakin makes some decisions that kind of go south, and they kind of have to pseudo fight their way out of there a little bit. Mm-hmm. And maybe it was a trap. I haven't quite nailed that down. But when they get back to Coruscant, we find out that Qui-Gon, who is still alive, in my movies, Qui-Gon is still alive.
Yeah.
Qui-Gon has been appointed to the council.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yoda has appointed him to the council. And we get a council sequence with both Qui-Gon as being appointed as council member, but Anakin is also being reprimanded for his behavior on Corellia.
Right.
And we are explained that we get more of a backstory of the Jedi being an arm of the Senate, and like, we are here to assist the Republic. We are not our own governing body. We're
an arm of the government instead of being their own separate.
Which we get in that sequence that Qui-Gon doesn't really feel good about that. There's some other Jedi members that we feel that, like, there is very clearly an ideological separation going on within the Jedi.
Yes. One of us works for the government. It's like, no, we should work for everybody.
Now, after this sequence, and we get more backstory about Anakin and his Jedi training and things like that, and like, we can be informed of what he's good at and what he's not. Yada yada yada. We find out that Padme is arriving on Coruscant because there is a very large Senate meeting, and she basically acts as the senator for Naboo.
Right.
We find out that she has been working hand in hand with Palpatine. Mm-hmm. And he has been kind of mentoring her. Yeah. And we get a scene between Padme and Palpatine that he is trying to make her a figurehead for this war.
Oh.
He's like, the Senate is on razor's edge. He was like, if any of these senators flip on some of these votes, like, we're not even going to have a war. It's going to be over. Like, so we need a rallying cry to get this Senate in order, and you being one of the few royalty members on this court that has any kind of sway, like, and you're young and pretty. It's marketing, baby. It's marketing. So Palpatine and Padme start working sort of hand in hand. Mm-hmm. And we find out through the film that as we get to certain Senate meetings, we find out that Palpatine he's oftentimes complaining that they just don't have necessarily enough power here and there. You can see him planting seeds with her a little bit, but there is also in one specific Senate meeting scene, we get there is an attack on Padme's life, and it is very clearly set up to look like it was the Carillion senators.
Oh,
but it is very clearly. They're calling setup, but they are all. But they clearly need a security force for Princess Amidala, and that's where Anakin comes in.
sure.
Anakin is put on her detail because he already knows her really well,
Right.
and they're already spending a lot of time together, anyways. And so he is also spending time with Palpatine at that point. So that's kind of where our Anakin and Padme and Palpatine are.
Right.
Yoda calls Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan to the council. They find out that there has been a sighting of Count Dooku.
Ooh.
And it's on Camino. And
Okay.
so they are going to be dispatched, and Qui-Gon's like, I'm on the council now, like I shouldn't necessarily go. And he's like, it's your old master, like you're one of the few people that they still think they can talk sense into him.
Yeah.
They're like, look, like clearly there was some kind of ideological like difference here. So like we need you to try and end this peacefully. I think that's kind of the vibe. It's like we don't want to fight anymore.
Yeah.
We don't need to fight. And so we also in that meeting get introduced to Mace Windu. Mace Windu is the acting general for the Trade Federation War.
Ooh, okay,
Like
great.
he is like he has been boots on the ground in Corellia. Like he is like the guy for that. And he is complaining about the fact that they just don't have enough troops.
Yeah.
He was like, the Trade Federation is gaining more planets every day. We don't have enough troops. I don't
Just
see
hang
how.
out robots, man.
He was like,
Yeah.
if you want to end this peacefully, you need to understand that they don't have, like, they have the forces that, like, they don't need to do that. So, like, if we are going to end this peacefully, we need a force that can go up against them.
Yeah.
And I don't know where we're going to get it. Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan go to Camino.
Right.
They, infiltrate their way there. Count Dooku is not there at that moment, but they find out about this cloning situation. They pretend to be, because Qui-Gon like knows certain details about Count Dooku. He's able to like futz his way in and kind of Jedi mind trick his way into kind of getting a tour of the facilities.
Sure.
And finding out that Dooku has been building the clone army. Specifically because the one thing that the droids have a hard time killing is Jedi. And so the clone army has been being built in order as Jedi killers. Like they are basically like they're Jedi hunter killers. That's kind of the whole vibe of the clones. And they're freaking out because they're like, we have to destroy this clone army. I don't know what we're gonna do. Like this is gonna win the war for the Trade Federation and blah blah blah. They finally, they make their way through the tour and eventually they get led into a room where they meet Jango Fett, who has been the one that has been cloned the whole time, and he behind their back tranquilizes or blue donuts the two of them. And then
part of balanced breakfast.
how did we? Okay, great. That's the blackout from that scene. We move back over to Palpatine, Padme, Anakin. Anakin and Padme just get love scenes. We get to see their relationship grow.
Yeah.
We get to see them be fun. But the whole time there's this aspect of I'm going to be a Jedi Knight and we're going to I don't know if this is going to work out.
Yeah.
There's a ticking clock. And so Palpatine in those meetings is encouraging their love. And he's encouraged in moments with Anakin. He is encouraging to be like, just marry her, because like this is the kind of thing where it's like they can't do anything about it. Like if you're not a knight yet, like what are they gonna do? Like you know, if you don't like something about the Jedi Order, there's no reason that you can't be the one that changes it.
Yeah.
Like, just little things here and there. Little things here and there. And I think, in secret, Palpatine marries them.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because he knows it's slowly, by him getting married, but also after her assassination attempt, that's when he calls... sorry.
Oh.
After they get married, but then there is on Corellia, the Trade Federation has taken their senators hostage,
Sure.
and they are requesting they want to negotiate, and they are specifically requesting Padme, and she's like, I have to go, and he's like, I'm not, like, you can't just go by yourself, like you have, like, I'm going with you. And she's like, no, like, it's too dangerous for the Jedi to go, like, it's not. He's like, I don't care what they're doing, like, you're my wife, I'm going with you. So they go, it ends up, so they make their way there. When she is leaving in, like, defiance of her Senate position. When Padme leaving, he has called for a vote of or he is, like, basically enacted some aspects similar to, like, the 25th Amendment.
Right.
Like, she's not able to make the decision, so, like, he needs to be given, like, granted more authority in charge of, like, what's going on. And so basically it's Palpatine just slowly gaining power. Once we go back to Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan waking up in Kamino, and Dooku is there. And we get a final showdown between Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan and Count Dooku. We find out that, like, yeah, I've created this droid army, like, it's time for the Jedi to go. He was like,
Whoa.
But he offers them a choice. He's like, I have created this army to kind of destroy the Jedi, but I'm not going, like, it's not going to be senseless. There's nothing senseless about what I'm trying to do. Like, I'm just trying to create new, like, trying to create the Jedi anew. Like, anyone that stands in my way and, like, wants to maintain this, like, archaic thing we've been doing for so long, I'm going to have to destroy them, but that's just how it works. Like, the Trade Federation, fine. The galaxy, whatever. Like, I am interested in creating the Jedi in my own image. And they're like, oh, no. So we get a fight between Obi-Wan, Qui-Gon, Count Dooku. I don't know how they get their sabers back. Whatever. They'll figure it out. But eventually, towards the end of this second movie, is when Count Dooku kills Qui-Gon.
Oh, no.
And it's in a circumstance where, like, Qui-Gon had the opportunity to take out Dooku, hesitated, and is killed. And in, like, Qui-Gon's I just feel like killing Qui-Gon at the end of the first movie just, like, didn't have the emotional weight.
It didn't.
And if we want to, like, build up to a moment with Dooku, that's how you do it. But Dooku basically bails.
Yeah.
He's like, he like dips out of that fight. Like, maybe he loses a hand, something.
Sure.
Losing a hand in Star Wars universe, not a big
NBD.
deal. Getting stabbed in the guts, get some fake guts. That's Star Wars. And so Obi-Wan basically facilitates taking this droid army, or not droid army, the clone army. And he negotiates with the Kaminoans. Is like, these are Jedi hunters. Like, what do we do here? And they're like, oh, well, we can just change the programming on them. Like, we can just flip the switch.
Deal, yeah.
We can flip a switch and turn that off. That's no big deal. So we're setting up Order 66, like, now.
Nice, yeah.
Like, it's already something. It's already something we're worried about in the back of our mind. Like, it's always been something that the clones were capable of.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's also something that, you know, Palpatine told Dooku to do.
Yeah.
It's all, and people will be like, "Why did Dooku leave? Like, that seems too easy." It's almost as if
that was the plan.
That was the plan the whole time. And so Obi-Wan, we get, like, a big standoff in Corellia. Mace Windu is, like, not sure how to basically save Padme from this sticky situation in Corellia. Obi-Wan shows up with a clone army to Corellia. They take the planet back and, like, save the day. And that's where I'm ending my movie. and we get like we're in a little bit of a good status quo.
Mm-hmm.
Anakin and Padme are married, but secret. And like Palpatine's like, we have a droid army now. It's like, oh, I can get what I need to get done in the Senate. What a happy day. Like, oh, this is spectacular. He's like, do you know how much good I'm going to be able to do once we can not worry about the Trade Federation anymore?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I can't wait. Like, everyone's in a pretty good spot. And that's where I end Attack of the Clones. My version. Like, we lost Qui-Gon. It's very sad. It's very sad. But we saved the day.
We did save the day.
We saved the day.
Everything.
Yeah,
kind
we
of okay.
reprogrammed all these Jedi killing clones. Everything's okay. Everything's just
Everything's
fine.
totally fine.
Yeah, and Anakin's gonna become a Jedi Knight, but he's gonna be secretly married. What could go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong?
Yeah, it's almost as if he's the living embodiment as to why Jedi didn't have partners. It's almost because they're too easy to manipulate.
Oh, well, that's the reason why they're easy to manipulate, because they weren't allowed to. They didn't teach them how to have relationships with people.
No, I mean, I would argue that, you know, well, I'll put it this way. Like, Palpatine spends more of this movie getting close to Padme than he does Anakin.
Sure, yeah.
Because he realizes he's like, I will be able to use Anakin to great effect.
Yeah.
All I have to do is bend the ear of the girl he's
Yeah.
interested in.
Yeah.
This is a 20-year-old boy. They are led very tenderly by the nose.
The nose.
Yeah, so everyone is like, you know, making choices that make sense.
Yes. And in chronological order.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny how that works out.
It's funny.
It's funny how when you just give everyone a personal reason to want to do everything.
Mm-hmm.
Why would Qui-Gon go? I don't know. He cares about Count Dooku, and that's what gets him killed. Oh, no.
Yeah.
It's that easy. It's not that hard.
It
I
really
don't know.
isn't.
So that's my Attack of the Clones.
Nice.
It's like my first fix was a little bit wilder.
Mm-hmm.
This one was not that wild.
Doesn't need to be that wild.
We just
need to start a war.
yeah.
Okay. Good job, bud.
Thanks.
Okay, so my Attack of the Clones. First off, where I left Star Wars Episode 1, Maul was still alive.
Oh, that's right.
Obi-Wan took one leg, Palpatine took the other. But he's still alive. Not in half. He just his lower legs are cut off.
Yeah.
We finished.
It's really hard. It's a really hard hurdle to jump. Someone being cut in half and be like, they're back. And be like, I don't believe you. You cut him in half.
And he fell so far.
And Qui-Gon got just like one big poke to the tum-tum that Sabine just took like a champ. I don't know.
Yes. So Maul is still alive. We finished with Dooku doing the scene from Tales of the Jedi with Dooku killing Yaddle and joining Palpatine.
That's right.
Because Dooku didn't know that Maul was working with Palpatine, because Maul shows up to report back to Palpatine. Palpatine does not like that he failed.
Yeah.
And so he takes his other leg, force pushes him out the room, and then Dooku enters. So one of his first apprentices is now off the table as his new one just showed up.
Yeah.
And they don't know about each other.
Oh, yes.
And Anakin and Padme were 14 and 16, respectively.
Sure.
So older and just, more competent. Okay, so basically, we start my episode 2 in the crawl, and we mentioned that the tensions are high in the Republic as hundreds of systems are requesting to leave the Republic, because this new separatist movement is led by former Jedi Master Dooku, which we met in the first movie.
Yes.
And with the Republic in crisis, tensions between the factions are growing and the Jedi are stretched thin. So we join Jedi Knight Obi-Wan Kenobi and his Padawan Anakin Skywalker on a diplomatic mission guarding a contingent of senators, including Senator Amidala.
We both start with a diplomatic contingency. Isn't that fun?
Because
yeah,
if that's what's going on, if that's the strife, then maybe we should see it.
Yeah.
And not just, oh yeah, Padme's ship exploded for some reason, I guess. I don't know. So the diplomatic mission isn't going all that well, as Amidala and her group are trying to reassure these people. And I don't know how else to describe them, but it's General Grievous' species.
Oh. Is he actually a species?
Yes.
I thought he was a robot.
He is a cyborg.
Interesting.
That's why when in episode 3 got shot in the heart.
Yeah, I understand.
He is a cyborg.
Okay.
Producer Brian back with some General Grievous information. General Grievous was a Kaleesh warlord who was mortally wounded in a shuttle crash orchestrated by Dooku and the Banking clan. He then agreed for the Sith to reconstruct him as a cyborg, giving up most of his organic form. This is not in any of the movies or the TV shows. It's mentioned a little bit here or there, but I believe it is canon. So back to you, gentlemen.
So his species.
They never totally explained
They
that.
didn't. I'm going to set up Grievous.
Oh, okay.
Because he didn't.
I'm not
he
going.
just shows up.
He just shows up. I don't even go anywhere close to Grievous. Because we have too many characters to spend time on in order to, rather than introduce a friggin' robot Batman.
I'm also just thinking of the Clone Wars cartoon. Was kind of also in the back of my head. I was like, oh yeah, if this stuff happens in the cartoon, like let's set these characters up. So like we can do this stuff. So it's his species that they are at this planet trying to figure out like how to like, hey, stay in the Republic. Well, because Count Dooku was there giving the pitch for the Separatists. So we will see. Padme is like, hey, democracy is great. Well, you should stay. Or like, I know it's slow and sometimes it's sloppy, but it's still the best form of government. We've humanity or just people, conscious people,
handing up pamphlets,
have ever just figured out. And
Yeah,
Dooku's like, well, oligarchy's pretty good. Like, the Trade Federation and those other union groups, space.
Dooku
unions.
knows better. He thinks he knows better.
He thinks he knows better.
He's not. That's the thing is that like Dooku's not wrong totally.
He's not wrong totally.
But he's arrogant.
Yes.
Like that's his downfall.
Because the Republic is not not helping the smaller folks.
No.
And of course they can't nowadays because Palpatine's in charge. So of course things aren't passing as fast as they should because the person in charge of the government doesn't want them to.
No.
It's almost like if you put someone in charge that wants to break the government, that when the government breaks is like, oh boy, the government broke. Ah, that's terrible.
If these movies did if Palpatine should have been even more likable.
Yes.
Like he should have been even more charismatic.
Yeah.
Because I love it's a shame that they hired the original guy to be the Emperor because he looked more like a shriveled up space sorcerer
He did.
than a charismatic, because the kind of thing where he shows up and he's like, hello, and it's like,
he's that guy. You're the bad guy.
They
Get
didn't
out of here, bad guy.
they didn't do a lot of makeup for you when you were that space wizard, huh? Oh, that's a bummer.
So Padme and Dooku are both, kind of pitching this, these people like, hey, stay with us or join us or whatever. And so Dooku can start dropping hints of like, this is why this schism's happening in the galaxy of like, the Republic is not working for some people. And so Obi-Wan and Anakin are, and also Dooku is like, here's the other reason why you shouldn't stay with the Republic. It's fallen under the sway of the dark side. It says it's a democracy. It's actually a dictatorship. Because there's a Sith Lord, puppeting the Republic. And that puts Obi-Wan and Anakin on their back heels because they're like, excuse me, what? We knew the dark side was around, but we didn't know that like it was in charge somehow.
That's pretty good.
So they're like, oh, well, everyone knows that the Sith, they're like, the dark side's a bad thing. And they maybe not understand it, but they kind of get it. Like, okay, well, if the Republic is, well, that's not, maybe we shouldn't. Whoa, what?
Oh, so Palpatine's going to black hat his way into, or he's going to white hat his way into being the Emperor.
Yeah.
Cool. I like that a lot.
So General Grievous then shows up in order to save his people from the Republic, attacks the contingent, Padme's contingent of senators and stuff like that.
I can dig it.
As kind of what you did, like, oh no, we're being attacked. We got to get back to the ship. And on the way back to the ship, Anakin's going to take one of Grievous's limbs somehow.
Cool.
Arm, leg, something. He gets wounded pretty big time by Anakin.
Yeah.
But he's still able to fight. Just one limb is gone. Of course, Dooku doesn't stop Grievous from attacking too. He's like, oh no, they are free to do whatever they want. So, okay, we head back to Coruscant and like, hey, this is what's going on. Padme talks to the Palpatine, and Obi-Wan and Anakin talk to the Council. And Anakin and Padme have been talking for 10 years. They're friends. They're friends.
Yes.
This is not the first time they've run into each other. They know each other very well. They're 24 and 26 respectively. They've done some stuff. They've hung out. They know each other.
Yeah.
They're not weird.
Yeah, you can't. You have to start their relationship, and we both did that. You have to start
Yes.
their relationship in the first movie.
Yes.
Like they have to start falling in love then, if it's going to be a trilogy. You can't just have a weird little boy and a grown woman in the first movie.
So like everything's pretty cool with them. Clearly there's chemistry between them, as I'm sure there would have been if the actors were allowed to be normal around each other
Yeah.
on set. There's chemistry there. But what we learned through some of their interactions is that Anakin keeps dreaming about his mom. And he keeps putting in requests to the Jedi Order of like, can I please go back to Tatooine and check on my mom? The Force is trying to tell me something.
Yeah.
This is not just I'm not just having dreams, guys. The Force is trying to tell me something. I'd just like to follow up. And they're like, no, you can't do that. Attachment stuff is bad. He's like, yeah, but the Force is telling me something. I feel like I should follow up because the Force is telling me to do something.
A lot.
But they're like, no, we can't. There's tensions are high and
Because you're separating
everything's
the
crazy.
bureaucracy of Jedi with just a connection to the Force.
Bing, bing.
That's good. I like that a lot.
Okay. So they check in with the council. I'm like, oh, by the way, Dooku's out there saying that like the dark side or a Sith Lord is like in charge of the Republic, and they're like, what? And so everyone's like, we know the dark side's clouding something, but we don't know what. What? That's terrible.
Yeah.
So everyone talks to Palpatine and is like, well, Yoda, do you think that is true? And Yoda says, no, that can't possibly be true because we would be able to sense it. So Palpatine asks him, well then, can you please tell that to the public to calm their fears? And Mace Windu and Yoda are not thrilled by that because they don't want to put a face to someone. They don't want to answer the stuff. They don't want this being public. But if Dooku's out there saying, hey, the Republic's actually the bad guys because there's a Sith Lord in charge or the dark side holds sway over the Republic, like, trust me, I'm a Jedi.
I can feel it. And
I know. And by the way, his saber's still blue. It's not red.
Dooku's?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because he's still a Jedi.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right.
So
He's just what he's trying to cleanse the Jedi Order. I think you're absolutely correct. His saber doesn't turn red.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but also just for PR. Just for PR. Everyone just for PR.
Or in my head, do you know what I call this slap that I gave you? I call it the Lashy slap because you give that to me when I have a good idea.
Yeah,
Now
okay.
I've started doing it.
Thanks.
Maybe he doesn't. Maybe he has a white saber.
Oh, okay.
Maybe he's like, it's not about the color of saber anymore. It's about, or something that
to denote
affects.
that he's different from the Jedi now.
Yeah, he's trying to put himself above.
Yeah.
Like it's colorless or it's black. It's like without color.
Because Dooku is the reason why Dooku fell is because he's still trying to help the little people. The government should be working for the people. The government has gotten kind of corrupt. We need to purge this stuff. It needs to be working for the people that put them in power.
Yeah.
And it's not right now because Republic's just been around for a couple thousand years, and it's just like the gears are just too dirty with corruption right now. He's not wrong. There's a reason why Palpatine rose to power.
Here's why it's a white saber. I think there's a really fun opportunity for a monologue from Count Dooku that's just like that explains like, oh, like Jedi just used to find the kyber crystal that this Force, spoke to them through. It's all Evander's wand shop basically at this point. But you know what I'm saying?
I do know
like,
what you're saying.
the Jedi used to just find whatever kyber crystal, red, blue, yellow, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And they would build their saber, and it would help them defend people who needed to be defended. And that was really all it was about. It was very simple. But now the Jedi Temple is all about like what color saber you have and what that means for your job. And they've gotten so they're dividing everyone into groups and being very specific, and it's all become bureaucracy, and it's all gotten weighed down by everything. He's like we're just all a little too. He's like we're all a little too like bogged down in all of our differences when it was always just about helping people. And that's why he has a white saber. It's not about the color anymore. It's just about
Just trying to help.
trying to help.
Trying to help.
Yeah, that's good. Woo! Okay, I'm amped.
And so also public sentiment against Palpatine and the Naboobian.
Naboobian. I think
Contingent.
we agreed on Naboobian. It's just fun to
It's
say.
funny to say.
I
It's
don't
fun to
care
say.
if we're right.
We're wrong. We are wrong.
Nabooian. I think it's Nabooian. Naboobian is more fun though.
Naboobian.
Look.
So like people want to leave the Republic.
Sure.
Like there are people are protesting against Palpatine and the Senate. Like, we want to leave, let us leave.
Yeah.
And the Republic is not letting them. So like, resentment against Palpatine as head of the Republic, and also Padme as she's from the same planet. You know, it's high against her. The threats against her are high because like, hey, you know, you're responsible for this. And so Palpatine asks like, Anakin, can you protect Padme? Because sentiment against Naboo is not going great right now, and we need to protect her. They're like, okay, we can do that. Right after this meeting, somebody shows up to the council. And is like, I have like the secretary, like from we saw in the Acolyte. Like, we just got a message from Camino that said Master Yaddle's orders ready.
Yaddles. Okay.
Do you guys know what that means? And like, we need to talk about blah blah blah. It's like, Master Yaddle's been missing for 10 years. What? Because they don't know she's dead. They don't know Dooku killed her.
Yeah.
They never found her.
Yeah.
Palpatine got. Come on, Palpatine cleaned that body up. He
Yeah,
works that real easy.
It's a little body.
Yeah. So Anakin,
Shoot it into space. It's Star Wars.
yeah.
You know?
Put an event.
It's so easy to get
fine,
into
yeah.
space. Just
Boom.
huh, you know?
So
Kick it out while you're in hyperspace. You know? Just shatter it into a million little Yoda pieces.
So Obi-Wan gets tasked to go to Camino to figure out what's going on. Also, the address is not in the archive again, just because they don't want anyone to like accidentally stumble past it.
Yeah.
But they don't go to kids to figure out like, oh my god, what happened to them? They just figure it out because they're smart and they're Jedi. Come on, they figure it out.
Yeah, man.
Anakin and Padme head off to Naboo, but as soon as Obi-Wan leaves, they change transports and go to Tatooine because Padme's like, you told me about your mom stuff. Let's go check on your mom. Like, I don't care about the Jedi. Let's go check on your mom. That's important.
Yeah.
So they go to Tatooine while Anakin goes to Naboo. A lot of the same stuff happens now, except when they go to Camino, when Obi-Wan goes to Camino, he sees the stuff, you know, this clone army. He talks to Jango Fett, and he reports back to the council, and it's like, so, like, why would the Republic need an army? And why has this been in process for 10 years? We don't need an army. And they start putting it together now. Like, someone is trying to set us up for a war that hasn't started yet. This has been in the works for a very long time. What the hell is going on? So he goes to talk to Jango Fett. But there's no fight between Jango and Obi-Wan. Because why? Obi-Wan was not going to fight him.
No.
He just like, we just have a couple more questions. We just want to know. Because he didn't do anything wrong. Jango did nothing wrong.
Nothing.
They just wanted to ask him a couple of questions. Yeah. That's it. So instead of fighting, in lieu of fighting, Obi-Wan could just trail him to Geonosis. It's not a big of a deal. He's like, oh, he already left. Oh, I'll track a ship. Boop, 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 boop. If we want,
Hey, I just had a couple more questions for Jango. Oh, you know what? He just left.
He just left.
So sorry. If
Yeah.
you want to go meet him on Geonosis, he'd love to talk to you.
That's it. It doesn't. If we want to have a space fight between Slave One and Obi-Wan, sure. But like, really, it's not really necessary because Jango didn't do anything wrong.
But also though, dude.
Those charges.
Seismic charge.
Seismic charge is cool. I'm not taking.
I can't
anything away.
even.
It's really
It's
cool.
one of the
You know
best sound effects in all of movies.
Maybe we can set that up, or we do something with it later. But at the moment, like, he didn't need to fight anybody right now.
No.
But so then Obi-Wan goes to
I
Geonosis.
forgot about that part of that movie.
Yeah.
For some reason, yeah. That's stupid.
It was cool, but like not necessary because there was no Obi-Wan was not trying to fight him.
Yeah.
He just needed to ask him a couple more questions. Because he's like, I got hired by someone named Tyrannus on the moon of blah, blah, blah. And I just showed up here and they started cloning my ass for 10 years. No big deal. Like, you didn't. That's legal. You are
he's
fine.
cloning me because I'm good at killing Jedi. Oh. Okay.
Meanwhile,
that's alarming.
Anakin and Padme go to Tatooine. And then they figure out, like, what the heck's going on with his mom. He bumps into Watto. Anakin's not chill. Because he meets Watto in the second movie. Mm-hmm. And he's like, just kind of cool with it or whatever, and like he fixes a bot for him, whatever. In this iteration of things, Anakin's not chill. Anakin, remember, hates slavery.
Yes.
And in my movie, that's a really big deal.
Yeah.
Like, hey, we're on Tatooine now. Slaves are still legal. Anakin wants this whole thing gone.
Yeah.
Why isn't the Republic doing anything about this? They should be helping the small people, the locals. Slavery is wrong. Where is the Republic? So he, it's pretty, almost hurts Watto, but Padme's there, pulls him back. But he finds out the information he needs about his mom. Goes to the Owens, Beru's future place, finds out information. He takes off after his mom. finds the raiders. Now in the first scene, we're gonna see the raiders actually mistreating Shmi a little bit. Nothing super crazy, but just enough to be like, oh, they kidnapped her and are being cruel to her. And so when she dies in a moment, and they have some very nice words about her, like him doing good, him being right, like you're helping everybody.
Can I offer you
Please.
something that might help the whole concept of like slavery being bad and him kind of losing control?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's not that she was kidnapped by Tusken Raiders. Maybe Watto just sold her contract to somebody else who is not a good person.
Okay, I like that.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, him killing all those Tusken Raiders felt a little convenient and a little kind of hinky, in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And that it was just like well, they had him kill a bunch of people that, like, we wouldn't care about because they're, like, do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I think him going off the handle on when it's people that, like, are, like, I don't know, Tusken Raiders felt like a cop-out. Whereas, like, I think he maybe, like, we see him slipping in a situation where people are a little bit, like, A, it's on screen,
Yeah.
and B, there's a little bit more of a societal impact of it.
Sure.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it could be him. You could make him make a statement about slavery, like a little bit more effectively. You know what I'm saying?
I got it.
Oh, I like that smile.
It's a hut.
Yeah.
It's not Jabba.
Yes.
It's the person.
But it's another hut,
It's
yeah.
another hut before Jabba.
Yeah.
And Anakin's just straight up murder of everyone at what we'll assume to be Jabba's palace is how Jabba gets the palace.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. That's good.
Because
I
he
like that.
murders everybody.
Oh yeah.
It's
not cool.
not cool, but like you get it.
Yeah.
So let's change it to
I
that.
like that a lot.
Let's change
That's
it to
really
that.
good. Yeah.
And also like like we could we meet Owen and Beru and Owen's father or whatever, and somebody like they're helpful locals.
Yes.
How about that? They're helpful locals, and Padme will stay with them while Anakin goes off and finds the mom at this other hut's palace. It is Jabba's palace that we already know, and finds his mom being mistreated and close to death.
No one's mad that Jabba's involved. I put Jabba in my first movie.
Oh, you did? Yeah. It's another hut, and Jabba will take over in a moment because he'll still have so many years to take in charge of Tatooine, but he just kills everybody, and it's like, yeah, man, they were all gangsters and robbers and slavers, like, sure. So Anakin gets back. Oh, he also stops by Watto on the way back. We don't see what happens to Watto, but by the way we shot the shot comp, it's menacing,
Yeah.
and we can go like, oh, he probably killed Watto. Yeah, he probably did. He probably did, but it's what? It's for you to decide at home. We didn't put it on screen, but like, yeah, he probably killed him, and like, rightfully so. He was a slaver.
But also, if he's going someplace like that, he can have he can have a conversation with these people, and you can see Anakin try to be a Jedi Knight about this and fail.
Sure. Yes, I love it.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like, you can see him try, and then they say something wrong, and it's like, oh no. Like, because with the Tusken Raiders, it was just like
There was no conversation.
there was no inner struggle.
Yes.
It was just unadulterated rage, and it was like he didn't. I want to see him get there.
Yes.
I want to
He needs to try to do the right thing.
Don't see in the original trilogy. We don't see him turn into Vader.
No.
We see Anakin, and then we see Vader. We do not see the transition.
No.
And that's the biggest failure of the entire trilogy,
Yeah.
in my opinion. That like there's no journey for this character. Anyway, sorry, I keep interrupting, but I'm really liking your fix.
And just some other things. As Anakin and Padme were traveling to Tatooine, we can have those conversations that they had on the ship in the original version of stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I thought Jedi weren't supposed to love. It's like, no, we can love, but it's not supposed to be like a personal thing. It's supposed to be like we're supposed to love everybody type of thing. But like, I think love is actually a good thing. If we can love people that are in the Republic, in the society, like that gives us more of a reason to try to protect society and save the people in it.
Yeah.
Because the people we love are a part of it. We love everybody, but like attachment, yes, sure, can be negative, but also it can be a positive force.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with love. We do love everybody. It's nothing wrong with loving a couple more people more. So he kills everybody. It's kind of, and I love that change. He's like, he tries, they throw it back in his face. He's just like, nope. Everyone's dead. It's super awesome, but you understand why he did it because they were hurting his mom.
I think they inevitably kill her.
Oh, yes.
And I think the thing that throws them over the edge is that they're like, well, how much was she worth again?
Yeah, exactly.
like,
Yeah.
it's over.
They just toss some coins to him. Yeah.
That makes me mad.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
So Anakin comes back, confesses to Padme about everything, and breaks. He's not whiny.
No.
When he says things, Padme offers him condolences and tries to talk to him about what he's actually talking about, not just asking the next question to get to the next point that they actually have a conversation. And Anakin's just breaking down. And it's like I lost the one person in the universe that loved me. And Padme goes, "That's not true.
Oh, that's
because
good.
I love you."
I'm getting goosebumps over here. I'm feeling good about this.
And they kiss for the first time in this moment. And it's not the best time, but it was also a really important time because Anakin is not alone.
Can I offer something?
Please
I
do.
think maybe he hides it from Padme that he killed all of them. I think he lies about it. I don't think he wants anyone to know.
Okay,
I think it's his own little secret.
sure.
Do you know what I mean? Because there is sometimes where he killed all those Tusken Raiders. He's like, I killed them all, and she's like, it's okay. And I'm like, he killed like 30 people. I love my wife, but if she came home and she was like, well, I went to the DMV and they were mean to me, so I killed all of them, I'd be like, I don't know about that,
keep
babe.
a secret, bud. You're not a good secret keeper.
That's
You've said
true.
it on multiple times. If you ever tell me you killed somebody, I'm turning you in immediately.
Look, no.
You-
do not come and say I'm bad
You
at keeping
have,
secrets.
though.
No,
You have
it
said
is-
that. If you
I
ever
have
tell
said that,
me a
and I
dark
mean
secret,
it,
I'm
and
telling the cops
and I
immediately.
still agree. It is a prerequisite of being my friend that you don't murder.
Sure.
If you come to me and say, "Hey, someone is framing me for murder," that's a different conversation. But if you come to me and say, "Hey, I killed this guy. Do you want to help me hide this body?" I'm going to say, "No, you're going to jail. Citizen's arrest. Put your hands behind your back."
Citizen's arrest.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's not being a murderer is a prerequisite for being my friend.
Okay.
I think that's pretty.
Well, so far,
Call me crazy.
I haven't murdered anybody,
But I think
so we're
that's
still friends.
reasonable.
All right.
I think that's
no one's framing me, so we're all good.
That's the lowest bar it could be, bud.
Okay, so that's basically Padme and Anakin are tied up for now, or they're fine. Thank you for your changes. Back over to Obi-Wan. He sneaks and listens to the meeting. It's like, oh my god. And Dooku's like, with the trade unions and the other unions and the other stuff, and a couple other representatives from other star systems and stuff like that. I was like, again, his pitch: the Republic is under the sway of the dark side, and also their democracy is not working for people.
Yeah.
We need a change. The separatists, oligarchy, other democracy, whatever it is, we can take care of ourselves.
Political struggle.
Yes, it's a political struggle.
Yeah.
And he says we cannot leave the Republic. They will not let us. I do not want to do this, but the only way these systems are going to have their freedom is we have to force our freedom away from the Republic. We have to attack them. We are going to attack Naboo because that's Palpatine's home planet.
Yes.
And that will send a message. It also nicely ties into the first movie. We can reuse those sets.
Yeah.
It's a place everyone already knows.
Yeah.
Just go back. So,
But Star Wars never reuses planets or locations.
it's kind of, it
We
rhymes.
spent 4 years on TV in Tatooine. I was like, get me out of here, boy.
But as Obi-Wan overhears this, I'm sorry. Back up real quick. If we're in the asteroid scene and he's and Obi-Wan was, maybe if he fought Jango or didn't fight Jango or snuck to the planet or whatever, as Obi-Wan made his way to the planet, however, what happens before then, we see another ship shadowing Obi-Wan follow him to the planet.
Oh, cool.
Okay, so now he overhears everything, and he overhears this whole meeting about attacking Naboo, and Obi-Wan is just about to get up to leave, and then he hears a voice behind him says, Obi-Wan Kenobi, I've been waiting for this. And Obi-Wan turns around, it's Darth Maul.
Oh, snap.
And so they have a fight, because he took his leg, but then he realizes, his other leg's also robotic. And the fight is not all that it's not aggressive as it was in the first movie.
Mm-hmm.
They are talking because at this point, Darth Maul, it's been 10 years. He just kind of wants to see everything burn.
Yeah.
Because he wants Palpatine to fail because Palpatine threw him away.
Oh, he's acting on his own.
Oh, he's acting on his own.
Oh, he's a rogue agent at
He
this
is a
point.
rogue agent because he was in the cartoons a little bit.
Yeah.
So I want to keep him as that rogue agent.
I like that.
So he wants Palpatine to fail. He wants Obi-Wan to fail. He wants everything needs to frickin' burn. So he's teasing Obi-Wan as they are sparring and fighting about he knows what's really going on because he kind of does. Not all of it, but a lot of it because he knows who's actually behind it. It's Palpatine. But before he actually says it's Palpatine, Dooku shows up. And so now we have a three-way fight because Dooku knows Maul killed Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, that's good.
and that is a sin that can never be forgiven
Yeah.
because that was.
And he also knows that he's trying to yap. You gotta yap, you gotta go.
Yep. So three-way fight. It's awesome because we have three very distinct fighting styles here now fighting each other.
That's the thing. I love Dooku's saber. I really do.
Yeah, he was a good duelist.
Yeah.
But we can have a cool lightsaber fight, and with Dooku trying to keep Maul from yapping, and also he wants to kill him because he killed Qui-Gon.
Yeah.
And Obi-Wan's like, wait a second, I need him alive. I need the information, and also you need to stop you from doing the thing. Don't attack Naboo. Like, everyone has stakes in this fight, so everyone's fighting for their own personal thing. So you know what? It's a good fight because everyone's got goals. Dooku's gonna win because Dooku is better than all these people.
Yes.
Because but it also allows Obi-Wan and Maul to retreat separately.
Sure.
So Obi-Wan gets back to his ship and is like, guys, they're about to attack Naboo. It's too late, though, because the attack was already launched during the fight.
Oh, snap.
So, at this point, the Jedi have... the attack lands on Naboo. And then Palpatine's like, oh, no, they're attacking my planet. The Republic's at war. Unfortunately, this democracy can't run fast enough. I need war powers and able to defeat the Separatists' army that's attacking a Republic.
And then it's like, okay.
Okay, go get him, Palpatine. You got it. Yeah, dude. So, and meanwhile, Yoda and Mace are like, we're being played. We're being played. We don't know who it is, but someone's playing us. And the dark side's all over this. But we don't have a choice right now. We got to get to Naboo.
Yeah.
And, well, if this giant robot army's on Naboo, again, Obi-Wan did just find a clone army for us. Crap. So Obi-Wan, Anakin, and Padme are closest to Naboo, as we know from the first movie.
Sure.
They get there first. Padme's like, I know how to get to the planet. This is my planet. I know how to get down there. They're fighting and doing all the stuff and doing the things and trying to protect people and save stuff. And then the Jedi show up with the clones to, like, wipe everything up. And, like, okay, and we can get that scene of, like, Jedi leading troops of clones to take out separatist droids and stuff like that. No, there's no massive Jedi purge here because they're awesome and know how to deflect blaster bolts and are awesome and cool and do rat cool shit.
Yeah.
Jedi. And also Obi-Wan and Anakin can bump into Dooku, who's on his way to take out the new queen, or like trap her, or what have you, and they could have the fight again, and Anakin can lose his arm. But this time, not because it was BS choreography. And the thing is like, oh, my arm's out. Oh no, my arm's gone. It's like, no, he can actually just. The choreography's better, and the fight's better because it's like Dooku is trying to get through to both of them. They're like, why are you doing this? You were. It's like, I'm still a Jedi because this time, because unlike the last fight that happened 20 minutes ago, Dooku and Obi-Wan could be like actually having a philosophical debate about it. Because last time they were just trying to get the information. Now it's just like, what are you doing? You were my grandmaster. Like, why would you do this? Like, all sorts. Dialogue, good stuff. Yoda can show up if he want to. They don't need to fight, but I think Yoda does show up to save Anakin and Obi-Wan. But if they fight, sure, but it should be brief because it should be more of a verbally sparring match. That
was for fan service.
Yeah, it needs to be just more verbal of just like, you were my master. What's going on? Your head is so far up your ass because you're protecting the entire galaxy. You've forgotten about the people you're supposed to be protecting, and the system is letting everyone down. I didn't bring this fight to you. You caused it yourself.
Yeah.
The Jedi need to change.
Yoda, you rose to prominence as a Jedi Master, as a man of the people, and you've completely lost touch. You have lost.
You're 900 years old. You've been in this order for so long. You've seen it change into what it is, and you have to know this is wrong.
Yeah.
So obviously the Jedi and the Republic win as they are supposed to. Dooku bounces because he knows he's supposed to. And by the way, also on this planet, also attacking General Grievous and his people.
Okay.
Because Anakin is going to maul him.
Oh.
He's going to be like, because he goes after Padme, and Anakin, not in the best place, rips this guy, shreds.
Yeah.
Like, he is rips.
And this picks him apart like a bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this is kind of important because Dooku's going to save him on his way out. And it's like, oh, I can save you. And we're going to see Grievous get the first Vader treatment.
Okay. See, that's what it should have been. It should have been a prerequisite for we can rebuild you.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
This
I like
is the
that a
first.
lot.
This is, so we're gonna do Bill Grievous. It's the first attempt to what.
I'm
will
just
happen
saying.
to
I think
Anakin.
they're like both of ours. If you just smushed them together,
Mhm.
you have we have it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
good.
So the council knows that something deeper is happening right under the noses, but they can't figure it out. But they have to start trying to figure out what's actually going on, who's tearing apart the galaxy, because we are being played.
Yeah.
We've been played masterfully, and we're in a box right now. We have no choice but to help fight in the stupid clone war. But like someone's pulling the strings here, and we gotta figure out who it is. Grievous goes off and gets evaded. And then and news of the Separatist attack and succession of a bunch of the systems are rocking the Republic, because we actually need to see, like, kind of at the end of Jedi, or I guess the revamped version of it, when like there's fireworks going off on Coruscant and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
In this version, systems secede, the Republic it's split in twain. Like, we need to see people like cheering or booing, or we like actually like boots on the ground, how people are reacting to
The galaxy is split.
Yeah, this is a civil war.
Yes.
It's now a galactic civil war that they're calling the Clone Wars. Dooku gets saved. He turns into a robot. Separatist flee. Anakin stays on Naboo to heal. And we see him get his arm, much like Luke, in Empire. We actually see it happen. And he and Padme come to a decision that, given the circumstances and the state of the galaxy, they get married in secret. They talk about. We actually have a scene of them talking about it, because like we know the Jedi do not like this. This is against the Jedi code.
Yeah.
We are now at war. Things are about to get crazy. But my mom has just died. But the important thing is, what are we doing? What are we fighting for if not for love? For people to be able to make their own choices. And this is what we want to do. We see them get married. It's a decision that they know full well the weight of, but like we're doing it anyways, because who knows what's about to happen. And then like we can see the actual shot of the actual end of the shot of the movie of like all the CG clones stepping onto the nascent little Star Destroyers going off as Jimmy Spence is like, oh no, begun the Clone Wars have, oh no.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude. Yeah, this movie could have been so much doper.
We'll see you in the cartoons, Dave Filoni. Skipper-da-boo. Here comes Ahsoka. Boo. And Ventress. Petit. Little General Grievous. Boo. Don't know he's scary. With his 4 arms. Boo boo.
I toyed with the idea of bringing Ahsoka in at the end of my movie.
Oh.
I think she could have very well been in the third one. I think you need to see, we can see the evolution of Anakin into full Jedi Knight, and he gets a bad one and it goes bad.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, they did a decent job of. Filoni and George Lucas did a very good job of of really shoehorning a very well thought out character eventually into the place where we didn't see her. So, and why she didn't show up in the third movie.
Yeah.
That is not easy. That is very hard to do. It's after the fact, but they did do it, and they did a pretty good job. Again, the prequels, unlike the sequels, had a really good story.
Yes.
There,
one that we care about.
So mistold.
Yeah, it's so mistold. It's the exact opposite of the sequels.
Yeah.
I was like, there's some pretty interesting like storytelling mechanics in the sequels, but I just don't care about the story. Whereas the other way around, I'm like, oh, I really care about Anakin Skywalker. Why?
Why would you give him war powers before a war starts? That's not how government works.
No.
You just need to.
No.
Or
introduce the concept of a prime minister, something. They never explain how the Senate works. So they just do Senate things and we're like, good. And it's like, you want to he wanted this to be more in depth, but then just doesn't focus on the things that actually matter. It's like he wanted to have like a really well-tuned automobile in these prequels, but then he was just like, but look, the cup holders. It's like, no, I want to know about the engine, George. I want to know about the engine. I don't know.
Yeah, the need for an army of the Republic was in the opening crawl. And you're like, wait a second. Time out. The Republic doesn't have an army?
No. But what? Yeah, it's space. Who cares?
But shouldn't they have some type of military force? It doesn't. It hasn't. Why would that be when this doesn't make any sense?
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. All right. I think we did it.
We did it, Jay.
We did it.
And a half an hour less time than the last time we did it.
And how? That makes me happy.
I know, we are sweating.
Woo!
Sweating
Well, thank you guys so much for tuning in for 100 episodes
100
of Fix It.
episodes!
We are coming up very quickly on Brian's paternity leave. He's having a wonderful little baby, and we're very excited for him. So we will be putting out some mini episodes that we've been pre-taping, which we're really excited to share with you. Little snippets here and there, and then we'll be coming back this fall with some really exciting new changes to the show. Really excited to talk to you guys about that. But thank you guys for listening. And as always, if you're catching this on YouTube, you know what to do. Like, subscribe, hit that bell, do that YouTube that you do so well. And if you're catching this wherever you catch your audio podcasts, leave us 5 stars. Maybe leave us a review. They make me happy. I like reading them. And as we end,
Real quick.
what's up?
Next episode is our last episode before the
The
paternity
last
break.
episode before paternity break, and it is
X-Men Origins Wolverine, because Deadpool's coming out.
hell yeah.
So
That's
that
gonna
will be
be
the last
awesome.
one for a little bit. Yes.
Happy 100 episodes, everybody. As we end every single one of these episodes, heartbreak feels good in a place like this.
It's the crap. Well, I guess it's the slow, quiet lightsaber or Sith Lord. Oh yeah, the quiet.
I think you're thinking too much about this bit.
I am. I think too, Jay. I overthink things because I'm a stand-up first and improviser second, or I'm actually more like fourth.
I have a trick for you.
Oh, I like tricks.
Sometimes when a funny bit comes up,
Yeah.
I have like a box that's like my when we have like a structured callback,
Mm-hmm.
I go, you're going in the box. Oh, yep.
Oh,
So I remember it.
I don't have a box, Jay.
We'll see you guys next week. This has been Rug Talk. Bye.